professionals, we need to make sure that we are setting families up for success. We don't want to provide an addition game if a child is still working on one-to-one, and vice versa. It is important that we show we are aware of students' abilities and how we communicate with families and the resources that we provide. As a child's teacher, we instruct within their zone of proximal development. The zone of proximal development is defined as the space where a learner can complete a task or understand the problem with the support of an adult or an experienced peer or mentor. Parents can also support students in this space. This is where learning happens. If you give a task that is too easy, it does not challenge the student or push their thinking. If it's too hard, it will frustrate them. This zone of proximal development is essentially the Goldilocks porridge of instruction. It's just right for learning to occur. Ideally, we want the work that we send to be in this zone so that parents can support child's thinking. However, there are some basic skills that students need to continue to practice to maintain mastery. For example, counting is something that a child should do whether they can count to 10 or 100. Working on other rote skills can also be supported with repetition. So there will be times that you might give a student something that is a little bit easier so that they can work independently to maintain mastery. Luckily, a lot of resources have already been developed on ECR. Most of these are handouts and give families ideas of how to practice skills in their everyday lives with students. You are welcome to expand on these ideas, but they can also be a great starting point. For example, this sheet talks about how you can practice syllables by talking about food. You, as a teacher, could expand on this and encourage families to practice clapping syllables about food that they are having at breakfast with their families. To access these resources, go to the ECR Essentials Gradebook. Select the student that you want to print a resource for. Then scroll to the skill you want to select and a resource for the student and click on the red icon in the family resource. Similar to the last one that I showed on the last slide will pop up. In our live session, we will do this together and identify specific skills that we want to work on with our students. Now, before we go, I also want to show some other resources. ECR also provides some home resources. There are the ECR at Home packets, which were developed out of distance learning. They have a lot of resources and ideas of things that students can do that might be good printables to send home as an additional supplement to support parents. Another really great resource to keep parents in the loop are the unit letters. These letters outline what is happening each unit, the skills that are covered, and the themes. The Home Connection resources are another fantastic resource that you can print out. Some teachers use this as weekly homework that students return. There are also a number of ECR books that you can print for each unit. These are great resources for families that need additional reading material. These are more specific activities that families can do with students each week. They can be found by going to the curriculum page and then selecting the Family Connections button. Before we meet this week, please take some time to review the linked resources in the Essential Gradebook and open up the ECR at Home resources to see if there is anything that you think would be a good fit for your students. We will use our time together on Tuesday or Wednesday to pick out resources we want to use in our upcoming parent-teacher conferences or just that we want to use in Journal in our classroom to support more family engagement.